Yo, what's up, y'all? This is your man. I am CeoShaw, and happy Tuesday, or like I like to say, happy kickoff to pre-Friday Eve. Somebody will get it in a minute. Yo, happy Tuesday to y'all. I'm grateful right now to be in front of you to share this information that I have to share with you because, well, let me back up and start by saying I'm a personal development coach and I'm an author. Hey, Endo, what's good? I am a personal development coach and I'm also an author, an entrepreneur. And the reason I get on Facebook Live and share this information is because, I want everyone to be better versions of themselves, because through this personal development work, I've been able to make myself a better version of myself. And it's still a work, that's why they call it personal development, because you never quite get, so good at it. Because as we grow and we change, we always need to find ways to become our best self. So that's the reason I get on Facebook, that I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, is to spread my message of positive change within us, because we have the ability to make positive changes within ourselves if we are first aware, and then we can, we kind of know what steps to take to move forward from there. So today, before I get into, I'm so excited to talk about what we're talking about today, but I gotta start off by saying, go visit my website, www.imceoshaw.info. On there, you can get information on my book, my coaching. I would really encourage you to pick up my book, because it's not a book more than it is kind of like a memoir of things, that a compilation of thoughts that you can kind of take with you throughout the day. That's why I call it My Thoughts. And this really isn't a sales tactic more than it is me telling you to get something that's a positive tool in your arsenal of positive tools. I've had a lot of people tell me that the book is helpful and it's a lot of really good information in it, so I think that you would benefit from it too. Make sure you also follow me on all of my social media platforms. I have a fan page on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on live.me, and I'm also on linkedin.com. So now that we have that out of the way, we are going to talk about today's topic, which is self-talk. Okay, so what is self-talk, right? Now, the definition would seem pretty simple. Self-talk is the things that you say to yourself. But what we don't realize is that self-talk is so much deeper than just what you say to yourself, right? So I went online. Psychology.com defines self-talk as the inner monologue that is constantly playing in our heads. Self-talk combines conscious thoughts with unconscious beliefs and biases. It is an effective way for the brain to interpret and process daily experiences. This inner voice is useful when it's positive, but dangerous when it's negative. So I like to liken the self-talk in a couple of ways, right? So we have our inner critic, but then our self-talk to me is like a radio station. It's a radio station that never turns off, right? We're constantly evaluating the world around us. We're constantly evaluating situations, circumstances, people. It's always there is always a monologue going on in our head. And a lot of the times, a lot of us don't even recognize the fact that we're always kind of talking to ourselves. And a lot of the times, what we don't realize is that this inner conversation can be very negative. When I first started personal development work back in 2012, one of the biggest things I learned about in personal development was self-talk. I was completely ignorant to the fact that we actually talk to ourselves. But what I was more ignorant to was the fact that this conversation happens automatically in our head. It's a radio that never turns off. It's that judgment that you have when you see somebody. It's that opinion that you have when somebody says something. Sometimes we say our self-talk out loud. Sometimes it's just playing in our heads constantly. But there is no time that you are not engaging in self-talk. So the purpose of today's conversation about self-talk is to kind of educate you on what it is, and also to help you to identify exactly what is self-talk. What can I do to be more aware of it? And most importantly, how can you change the self-talk that you have with yourself? Because ultimately, it's this self-talk that you have with yourself that determines whether you will succeed in life or that you will fail. It'll determine whether you're happy or whether you're sad. It'll determine whether you have a negative outlook on life or a pessimistic outlook on life. So like the definition on psychology.com, it said that self-talk combines conscious thoughts with unconscious beliefs and biases. We're always analyzing. We're always scanning. We're always trying to make sense of the world around us, whether it makes sense or not. If things don't make sense, our brains will try to make it make sense, right? Because that's what we do. We are analytical creatures, always analyzing, always feeling around to try to figure out how things make sense and how we play into the world and the experiences that we have. This is a constant thing, always, always. It never stops. So when it comes to this self-talk, the first thing you have to do is you have to identify the voice. You have to become aware. You have to become aware of this radio station that's always playing. And it's really easy to become aware of it. All you have to do is when you're in silence, and it's important to go somewhere kind of quiet so that you can listen, but in silence, just kind of turn your perspective inward. So instead of looking, at the external world out here, sit down and just feel your body. And as you feel your body, and you're in the presence of feeling your body, and you've turned your attention inward, then start to listen to your thoughts. You will find that you're always thinking about something. Oh, it looks like it's about to rain. I gotta cook dinner tonight. I can't stand being on this job. I'm so stupid. I forgot to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get it from my husband today. Oh, my wife is gonna chew me out. You're always talking. You're always talking to yourself. I like a quote that says, "Be your own best friend and not your own worst enemy." Because you are the one person that's with you all the time. All the time. Now, we could get into the whole mind, body, spirit thing and how we have different selves or different eyes, but that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about the physical you. You are with yourself all the time. So it's natural that you are always talking to yourself all the time. Make sense? So the first thing when it comes to self-talk is to identify the self-talk. Just listen to yourself talk. Don't even say anything. Just pay attention to your thoughts. Your thoughts are so interesting that they won't even stop once you start paying attention to them. They might stop for a second and then they'll start back up. This is something that happens a lot in meditation. I've been meditating for almost 12 years now. And anytime that I try to not think about something and quiet the inner voice, it might be quiet for a couple of minutes and then you just start thinking about stuff. That's when that inner voice starts to just kind of kick back in. And the thing is, you can't control it. It's a radio station that's always on up here. So the first step to controlling your inner talk is to just be aware that you're talking to yourself. It's the first thing. That's the very first thing. The next thing is to listen to what it is that your inner voice is saying. This might be sad, and I think it is, but I think most of our self-talk is negative because we might hang around negative people. We have the media that feeds us a bunch of negativity and violence. We might have family members that are negative. You might be in a negative situation. You might be in poverty. You might be struggling with your finances, and so there are so many things that play into why your self-talk is the way it is. So when you identify your self-talk, when you become aware of it, now become aware of the things that you're saying. Are you a judgmental person? Are you constantly judging people? Are you talking down to yourself? Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm a failure. Things never work out for me. Things never go right. I'll always be sick. I'll never get a job. This is your self-talk. This is you talking to yourself. And the funny thing about self-talk, it says right here that it combines both conscious thought and unconscious belief. And self-talk is very sneaky. It's sneaky because you might just be going on with your day. You might be at work. Let's just say you do telesales, right? And while you're on the phone consciously doing your work, oh, yes, sir, how can I help you? And in your mind, yeah, I'm a loser. I'm doing my job. Oh, my God, I'm so fat. Oh, let me go get this file off the printer. Oh, I'm not nothing. I'll always be at this dead-end job. Your self-talk, it kind of puts itself in with your conscious thinking. That's why a lot of the time you don't even know. You don't even recognize how insidious your self-talk is because it just kind of blends itself in with your day-to-day stuff. Oh, I'm going to get the kids. Oh, I'm a terrible mother. Oh, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? Oh, I'm so fat. And it happens and we don't even know it. Right. Self-talk can be a form of self-hate. And we don't even recognize it a lot of the time. So it's important, once you recognize your self-talk, then you have to recognize, what are you saying to yourself? Are you talking good about yourself? Or are you talking bad? Are you speaking life or are you speaking death? Because a lot of time our self-talk is very negative. Another thing that you can do to monitor your self-talk, your moods and feelings. Your moods and feelings are a great way to judge what you're saying to yourself. Because think about it. When have you ever felt positive saying negative things to yourself? Conversely, how often do you feel positive? How often do you feel negative and you're always saying more negative stuff to yourself? Self-talk feeds your moods. Self-talk will feed your moods and your feelings. If you're feeling like, oh, I'm fat, I'm never gonna lose this weight, 9 times out of 10, you're not saying that with any optimism in your voice. Oh boy, I'm fat. I freaking hate myself. No. Generally, you're gonna feel down when you say it. Oh, I'm fat. Things will never change for me. Your self-talk fuels your moods. So that's a good way, especially for people that have mental health conditions. I'm diagnosed with bipolar, so I'm always having extreme ups and downs of my moods. And I realize when I'm in a low mood, my self-talk is very negative. When I'm in a high mood, my self-talk is very positive. So you have to be conscious of your moods and your feelings because your self-talk fuels those things. All right? We talked on another video about cognitive distortions. Now, I'm not going to get into cognitive distortions. But generally, our self-talk can take form of what we call a cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortions are ways that your mind, when you're depressed and sad, it will take a situation and it will completely distort it. I'll give you a couple of examples. Black and white thinking. Thinking things are either this or that. You don't see a gray area. It's either I'm a good person or a bad person. You can't be in between. That's considered a cognitive distortion. Another cognitive distortion is fortune telling. Assuming that your situation right now is how things are going to be in the future. Oh, right now I'm sick. I have a chronic illness and I'm gonna always be sick. Things will never get better for me. Oh, woe is me. That's considered what we call a cognitive distortion. And your cognitive distortions have a lot to do with the things that you say to yourself. Let me tell you, your mind is a very tricky thing. I'm not sure if you've noticed by this conversation so far, but your mind is freaking powerful, and it can be your biggest help, or it can be your biggest hindrance. This controls all of this out here. Okay? So, check out, I did another video on cognitive distortions. I think it's on my Facebook page, or go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, don't forget, and click on the bell. And check out my video on cognitive distortions, okay? What they are, how they work. So what are some things, once we have become aware of our negative self-talk, right? And then once we listen to what that cognitive distortion says, is it positive or negative? And when we check our feelings and moods, and when we are completely aware of this negative self-talk, so what do we do to change it? Well, you find more positive self-talk. You find things to say to yourself that are a lot more realistic, because, and that's one thing that I did not that's one thing that I didn't touch on was that most negative cognitive distortions, if not all, are very unrealistic. To say, because I'm sick right now, I'll be sick in the future is unrealistic, because the reality is you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't control it. It's out of your control. So how could you possibly say, well, I'm going to always be sick? Or you go to speak in front of a group of people and you say something like, oh, everybody thinks I suck. Again, that's unrealistic, because you do not know what's in the minds of everyone else. You don't. So most self-talk is not only unrealistic, but it's damaging. It's not real. This is why we have to become aware of our self-talk, so that we're able to kind of bring and put in more rational thoughts, right? So instead of thinking, say right now you're in a tough situation, and right now things seem really bad. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, things are gonna always be this way, a more realistic self-talk is, this too shall pass and my life will get better. Because how many times in your life had you went through a situation, you didn't know how it was going to turn out, but it turned out and worked itself out in some type of way, and things were okay after that? If you have been alive for more than any amount of time on this planet, you have been able to be a part of the ups and downs of life. And that life isn't just linear. It's up and down. And for people with mental health issues like me with bipolar, it looks more like this. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's just it's the nature of the beast, right? So instead of saying my life will always be bad, say something like, this too shall pass and my life will get better. I know for me, I've always had very low self-esteem for a long time, and I never felt like I was worthy, right? And I used to blame myself for a lot of things that happened to me. So instead of saying, oh, I'm worthless, things never work out for me, that's negative self-talk. What you want to say is, I am a worthy and a good person. That's more rational self-talk. Because yesterday, we talked about inherent worth, right? That you are worthy just because God created you. Because you were created, you are worthy, right? That worthiness has nothing to do with society, your parents, your spouse, your children. No, your value and self-worth as a person is inherent, and it is given to you by a power that is much, 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 much greater than any person or situation, right? So instead of negative self-talk, oh, I'm worthless and I'm a bad person. No, I am worthy and I am a wonderful person. Sorry, y'all. Let me get some of my drink. I'm technically not supposed to be doing this much talking because I just had surgery on my vocal cord. But I can't help it. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. It's what I love to do. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Negative self-talk. Oh my gosh, I never make the right decisions. I just can't seem to get in front of the 8-ball in life. Negative self-talk. More positive self-talk would be, I'm doing the best I can, given my history and level of current awareness. We have a tendency as people to not give ourselves credit for anything. We minimize, which minimizing is considered a form of a cognitive distortion. We make it seem like things that we've done don't matter. It doesn't count. Instead of saying, I'm doing the best that I can, you find a reason to beat yourself up and put yourself down. But guess what? You can only do the best you can. People can't expect more than that out of you. We talked about this yesterday when we talked about kind of these personal laws that you have, your personal right. You have the right to do the best that you can. And your best is all you can give. What else can you give other than the best of yourself? You can't give anything else that you don't have. So you have the right to give your best. We're going to go through about one or two more kind of reframing, more realistic self-talk. You say, I never accomplished anything. In my case, I always felt like because I haven't gotten my degree yet, oh my gosh, my little brother's gotten his degree, my family members, my cousin done got her PhD now, and I'm still struggling on an associate's degree. I just suck when it comes to school. I can't ever finish anything. No, that's negative self-talk. More positive self-talk is, look at how much I've accomplished. I might not have accomplished my degree yet, but I've been in nursing school. I've tried to be in college. I've gotten all types of certifications and accolades. I've written books, all types of stuff like that. So more positive self-talk is, look at how much I've accomplished, and I'm still going. I'm still progressing. And I want to stop there for a second because a lot of people, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't take the time to smell the roses. We feel like life is this big emergency, and we downplay all of our accomplishments like, well, anybody can do that. No, they can't. Anybody can't just do that. Learn to give yourself some more credit. Pat yourself on the back every once in a while. Don't be modest about your accomplishments. You've accomplished a lot. Gonna do one more. Instead of feeling like you have to try to get everything all done at once, because our minds, there's a book that I love to read. It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff by Dr. Richard Carlson. And he talks about how our minds tend to catastrophize situations and put us in a hurry, making us think, oh, I got to do this. I got to get it done now. Now, we're not talking about things that are high priority. Just in general in life, we're rushing. Oh, I'm 29 years old. I need to be married. I need to have a husband. I need to have this job. I need to be financially stable. I need to do this. I need to do that. And then your head blows up, right? Because you've set all of these expectations on yourself, and then when you don't meet those expectations, then you get sad, right? So what I'm encouraging you to do, and to tell yourself when you find yourself with all these super high expectations, telling yourself, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, and I got to get this done. What you need to say to yourself is one step at a time. One step at. How do you walk as humans? We're not bunnies. We don't leap. We don't hop. We don't skip. We walk one foot in front of the other one. Naturally, that is the pace that God gave us. 1 foot in front of the other one. 1 step at a time. That's the only way we can walk. Even if you're running, you can only take 1 step at a time. Remember that. Remember that. As humans, I feel like God was so intentional when he created us. Because we can only walk 1 step at a time. That's it. So when you find yourself engaging in negative self-talk, and you feel like you got to get all these things done, and you've put all of these expectations on yourself, and now you're getting sad because you got all these expectations that you got to meet, and you can't meet them, tell your irrational mind, 1 step at a time. Because that's all you can do, is take 1 step at a time. So today we discussed self-talk. I hope you got something from this video. Please share my live video. I'm doing as much as I can to kind of get the word out there about what I do. I want to be one of the most positive and optimistic people on your Facebook timeline. So if you would share the word, tell somebody about me. Hey, I found this dude on Facebook. He's pretty dope. Check him out. CeoShaw. You can go to my YouTube channel. Type in CeoShaw. CeoShaw is all one word. And all of my videos will come up. I generally put my Facebook live videos on my website. Well, not on my website, but I generally put them on my YouTube channel, so that you can go back and watch them, or you can just send them to this page. Follow me on all of my other social media outlets. Go like my Facebook fan page. I would really appreciate that. CeoShaw. You can also go find me on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat. I gotta get my Twitter back together. They put me in Twitter jail. What's up? I've been in like Twitter prison. I've been in prison for years. They won't let me out. I'm locked up. I'm for real though. For real. Y'all can also go to my website, www.imceoshaw.info, and you can learn a little bit more about me there. Y'all, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. Oh, also go to my website. You can get a copy of my book, My Thoughts. It's on there. It's more like a memoir of just thoughts of mine. It's not really even a book more than it is just kind of like sections of just random thoughts that I've had over the years, and I've kind of put them together in a book, and you can purchase that for yourself. Just something, like I said in the beginning of this video, to add to your arsenal of positivity and optimism and personal growth and development. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to get out of here. Like I like to say, stay grounded, stay spiritual, and continue to move forward.